When you fall asleep, your mind is supposed to rest. But what if sleep becomes a trap? What if each time you close your eyes, you step into a place more real and more dangerous than the world you left behind? This is the terrifying true story of a student who became lost in his own dreams. This is Trapped in Sleep. My name is Adam Herrera. I'm 21 years old, and until a year ago, I was just a regular college student at a university in New Mexico. I had a part-time job at a bookstore, a decent GPA, and a roommate who was more into video games than showering. Life was boring, predictable. That all changed during midterms of my junior year. It started with a dream. The first one wasn't that scary, more strange than anything else. In the dream, I was walking through a hallway, endless. The lights above me flickered, and the carpet felt like it was sucking at my feet, like wet sand. I remember the sound of a ticking clock somewhere behind me, but no matter how far I walked, I never found a door, just hallway after hallway. When I woke up, I felt drained, like I hadn't slept at all. My head throbbed, my eyes were dry. I shrugged it off as stress. I was studying, staying up too late, drinking too much caffeine. It made sense. But the next night I had the same dream. Only this time, I wasn't alone. Halfway down the hallway, I saw a person ahead of me. They were standing still, facing away from me. I called out, "Hey, where's the exit?" The figure didn't move. Then, after a moment, they lifted one hand and pointed behind me. I turned around and saw nothing but blackness, like the hallway had been swallowed by a void. When I turned back, the figure was inches from my face. Its eyes were missing, its mouth sewn shut with black thread. And then I woke up, gasping, soaked in sweat. For the next week, I had the same dream every night. The hallway, the ticking clock, the figure. Each time it got closer. Each time I woke up more tired. One night I didn't wake up. At least that's what it felt like. That night the dream changed. I was still in the hallway, but now there were doors on either side. Closed, rusted, and vibrating slightly, like something was inside each one trying to get out. I didn't know which door to open, so I kept walking. Eventually I reached the end, a massive iron door covered in scratches. The figure stood in front of it. I said nothing this time. It raised a hand and pointed at the door, and then it whispered something for the first time. "Choose." I opened the door. Inside was a classroom. My classroom. My actual psychology class. Same desks, same posters, same window looking out over the quad. Except everything was wrong. The windows showed only blackness. The clock was spinning backwards, and my classmates sat motionless, all of them, staring. Their faces were rotting, eyes missing, skin hanging loose. And at the front of the class, the professor looked up at me with hollow sockets. "You're still asleep," he said. "You never left." I woke up screaming. I didn't go to class that day, or the day after. I couldn't sleep. I drank coffee, took cold showers, did everything I could to stay awake. After 40 hours without sleep, I passed out on the floor and entered the dream again. Only this time, it was daylight in the hallway. I thought maybe the nightmare was ending. Then I saw the hallway was no longer empty. Figures lined the walls, silent, staring. Dozens of them. Each one had a sewn mouth and a stitched number on their chest. 1, 2, 3, all the way up to 36. I stopped in front of number 37. He looked like me, identical, but pale, hollow-eyed, dead. The others began whispering, "All versions of you, you never woke up." I backed away, turned, ran, but I didn't get far before the hallway began collapsing. The walls caved in, the ceiling turned to liquid. I screamed and woke up, but something was wrong. I wasn't in my room. I was back in the classroom, but it felt real this time. I could feel the desk, the breeze from the air vent, the scent of ink and chalk. I tried to speak, but I couldn't. Everyone looked at me, their mouths still sewn shut. And then, I saw my body, my real body, lying asleep on the desk. I wasn't awake. I was dreaming, inside a dream, a lucid nightmare. That was when I realized what was happening. I was trapped. I wasn't waking up because I didn't know what reality was anymore. Each time I thought I'd woken up, I was just going deeper. I began seeing layers of dreams, dream within dream within dream. Sometimes, I'd wake up in my room, only to find my roommate staring at me with pitch-black eyes whispering, "Deeper." Or I'd wake up in the bookstore with customers frozen mid-step, all mouthing the same words in silence. "Let go." It drove me to the edge. One day, I broke down and told a TA in one of my psych classes. She listened to me without judgment. When I finished, she asked one question. "When's the last time you saw yourself in a mirror?" I paused. I couldn't remember. Not once, in any dream layer, had I seen my reflection. That night, I looked in the mirror before bed, just to be sure. What I saw wasn't me. It looked like me, but older, weaker, gaunt, with blood dripping from the eyes. The reflection leaned forward and whispered, "You're not the one who's awake." And the mirror cracked. That's when I lost it. I stopped going outside, stopped talking to people. I couldn't tell what was real anymore. Eventually, I was admitted to a sleep study facility. They monitored my brainwaves. Every time I slept, I entered REM faster than normal and stayed in it longer, much longer. Once, they let me sleep 12 hours straight. When I woke up, the researchers were terrified. They told me my brain had never stopped dreaming. Not once. Even during supposed wakefulness, I was still in REM. They said I was suffering from something rare, non-circadian sleep reality entrapment. Basically, my brain no longer knew how to wake up. One of the doctors theorized that a certain part of my subconscious had become dominant, creating and controlling layers of my sleep environment. A second self. I called it the other me. I believed the other me was trying to keep me inside, forever. I had to do something drastic. That night, I made a plan. I would go into the dream willingly and confront myself. That night, I took melatonin, locked myself in a quiet room, turned off all electronics. I lay down and waited. It didn't take long. I opened my eyes in the hallway again. Empty, quiet. I walked until I found the door marked 37. Inside was a mirror. The other me stood there, watching. We stared at each other for what felt like hours. Then he spoke. "I woke up first. You stayed behind. I'm keeping your body alive." I said nothing. He walked forward. "You're the dream. I'm the real one." He reached out, and I grabbed his hand and whispered, "No, I'm done sleeping." Everything shattered. Light, sound, walls. And I woke up, truly woke up, in a hospital room. They told me I'd been in a coma for 5 weeks. They never figured out why. All scans showed activity, but no consciousness. No one believed the story I told. But I know the truth. I escaped, barely. And I pray, every night, that I never fall asleep like that again. Because if I do, I don't think I'll come back next time. Dreams are meant to end. But for some, the dream becomes the world, and reality becomes the illusion. That was the terrifying story of a student who became trapped in sleep.